As a lower schooler, I can remember going to EA basketball games with my older brother and watching Mike Yocum play, as well as seeing him tower over everyone at school. He was a vital member of one of the most successful teams in EA basketball history. However, more notable than his ability on the court was his friendly and genuine demeanor. After graduating from Episcopal in 2006, he went on to Philadelphia University, where he was the captain of the basketball team and president of Delta Sigma Pi, a co-ed business fraternity. He now works for Vanguard as a financial analyst. Please stand to greet Mr. Mike Yocum.
Thank you. Please be seated. A little bit about me. I've kind of lived a nomadic life. I've called quite a few places home, but this has always been home to me. Thank you, Carly, for the introduction, Rev Squire and the rest of vestry. So good to be back. And I'm proud to say this is still the blazer I wore when I graduated, so didn't lose it yet. When Carly had asked me to speak and to address you all in chapel and told me the theme was the famous words by Mahatma Gandhi, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world," I began to think about what I would speak to. The wheels started turning a little bit, and I finally decided where I was going to go with this. I had a phone conversation with Reverend Squire last week, and when I told him what I was going to be speaking about, he reminded me of the Bible passage that relates to my situation. In Luke chapter 12, verse 48, as we just heard, "For unto whomsoever much is given, of him much shall be required." As with most situations in my life where I'm affected positively, it started with my parents. Anyone who knows me knows that the most important thing to me in my life is my family. I think it is a blessing that I'm surrounded by such extremely loyal and encouraging and supportive people in my life. Almost 1 year ago to the day, I was awakened by a text message from my mother that simply read, "Call me." Anyone who's ever been in similar situations or have received similar texts from their parents knows that these kind of text messages will always make you nervous, because why would my mom just text me, "Call me"? I wiped the sleep from my eyes, stood up, and called my mother. She had informed me that my cousin's boyfriend had been in a car accident where the driver was killed and my cousin's boyfriend was going to need to have his leg amputated. Talk about life turning on a dime. My cousin's boyfriend was working as an ambulance driver, already had one beautiful daughter and another child on the way. It is easy to see that this was going to change the lives of more people than just the ones who were in the car that night. He would no longer be able to work, and a lot of things were never going to be the same for him and his family. They all live with my aunt, and her house has multiple levels, and it's not really ideal for living for a person with that kind of disability. This is where my parents decided to get involved. My father works in construction, and my parents have worked hard their entire lives to provide a comfortable life for our family. When this situation happened, my parents decided to jump right in and help my cousin and her boyfriend. My parents decided to convert my aunt's basement into an apartment for my cousin and her young family and make everything handicap accessible. Now let me say that my parents have always been my two biggest role models. When I expressed to my parents how proud I was of them and they made such a big financial time and energy commitment to help out some family members who had a rough patch, my father simply told me that it was never a question and that it's just simply the right thing to do. They were in a position to do it and felt it was their responsibility to step in and do the right thing. The game plan was set, and a few days later, the project got underway. As much as this is a story about my family kind of coming together and helping out other families who need it and helping them through moments of adversity, the most touching parts of this story are the instances in which people who didn't even know my cousin or my aunt or my cousin's boyfriend decided to step in and get involved and donate time, materials, and energy and money to help complete this project of converting this basement. A lot of people were willing to help simply because of the relationship that they had with my parents. My parents have always raised my brothers and I on the values of doing the right thing, being honest with yourself and as well as other people, and always being a person of your word. This is not only something that they preach, but something they adhere to in their daily lives. So when something happens and my parents need help, it's not surprising that numerous people were willing to come out and help my parents, and help people associated with my parents. And they decided to do whatever they could to do to help. One of the biggest things I took away from this entire situation came from a plumber that my father knew. He donated all kinds of materials, and he and his employees installed a completely new bathroom outfitted with all kinds of handicap fixtures. And when my parents asked him what they could do for him in return, he simply stated that he has a blessed life, he's healthy, his family's healthy, and it's almost his duty to kind of help the people that need it because he has been so fortunate in his life. I know for a fact how much that meant to my family and how various acts of kindness can go such a long way. When Carly had given me the chapel theme this year, I started thinking about it on a personal level. What kind of change do I want to see in the world? What kind of life do I really want to live? Again, it always comes back to my parents. As I mentioned earlier, my parents have certain values that they adhere to. These include honesty, integrity, doing the right thing. And while you can see the immediate benefits of living a life like this, what some people may not realize is that this is contagious. If you go out of your way to help people and be a good person, other people will recognize that and be more open to doing it themselves. Based on my parents' example, this is what I strive to be every day. When the day is done and I'm reflecting by myself, I have to ask myself what kind of person I am and if I'm living the best life possible. I feel that being the change in the world starts on a personal level. And if we could all answer these questions honestly, then we're in pretty good shape. As mentioned earlier, I graduated from Episcopal in 2006. And while I'm looking out onto this chapel and might not recognize as many faces as I have a few years ago, I still know what kind of place this is and what kind of students go here. If you aren't all extremely talented, motivated, and intelligent individuals, you most likely would not be attending this school. Additionally, I know personally how many people have made sacrifices for me to go here. So I stand here before you asking you all to make the most of this opportunity. It is great to go to school here and be surrounded by people who inspire and motivate us daily. However, all of this does come at a cost. Take a minute to sit here and think about the people who put you in this position. Take another minute to think about your own personal strengths and what as an individual you have to offer this world. Like I said, all of this comes at a cost, and that cost is to give back to other people and share your talents, time, and efforts with the world. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him much shall be required. When I was speaking with Reverend Squire last week, he had mentioned that the can drive is getting ready to start and the school's gearing up to get involved with that. I've never seen anything like the can drive here at Episcopal. When I transferred in here, I was kind of blown away at just the sheer volume and how many people got involved. Reverend Squire also mentioned how he expects this to be the biggest can drive ever. I've been in positions where my family and I have helped people who needed it, and I've seen how grateful people are to get that help. A couple of weeks ago, I read a news article about a restaurant that Bon Jovi had opened in New Jersey. The basic premise of this restaurant is you pay what you can, and if you can't pay anything, they'll put you in positions that enable you to volunteer in order to pay for your meal. This article goes on to say that the reasons that Bon Jovi was inspired to open this restaurant is that he learned that 1 in 6 people in the United States go to bed hungry every night. Think about that. I've been fortunate in my life to have to never go to bed hungry. We are all in a fortunate position in life, so we should all do what we can to help the people that need it. I want to thank you all for allowing me to come in and speak today. Continue to think about the good things in your life and what you have to offer other people. It is my belief that as people, we have to be committed to other people. We should all look to be that good example for the people around us. You never know when that act of kindness, those words of encouragement, or that time you're there for someone when they need it might change their life. That's the world I envision living in. Be good to each other, continue to be blessed, and live the best life possible. Thank you.